It's 42 degrees in the garden today. The warm weather's just about over. We've got freezing temperatures moving in tonight for the next couple of days, and we're expecting half a foot of snow. What can we do to get ready for winter here in the garden? The first thing you can do is go out to your winter garden and pick whatever's ready. This is some dwarf Siberian kale. The leaves are a little smaller than I like, but it is the middle of winter. And here are some bok choy leaves. I'd originally planned to pick the whole plant, but I'm still having trouble with slugs. So we'll use these and hope that the slugs go away. And I also picked a bunch of lettuce. This is Tom Thumb and black-seeded Simpson. Tom Thumb makes these little heads with leaves. You can break off the little leaves and then use the heads to make a gourmet salad. The little leaves are edible too. Crunchy and delicious. My wife says the produce aisles at the grocery stores are empty. But if you have a winter garden, this is a great time to go out and pick produce before the cold weather hits. There's a little bit of frost damage to the leaves, but they're actually very good quality. The second thing we can do is have a nice selection of transplants ready to go in the ground as soon as the cold weather recedes. That way we can replant anywhere a plant has died off. And the plants grow much faster indoors. Here comes the cat. She's wearing a pink ribbon today, so the songbirds and mice won't know she's a killer. The third thing you can do is check the moisture level in your soil. All of these beds are under covers, and a lot of the moisture stays trapped in the garden, but they can dry out, especially ones like this garden line row cover that don't seal to the ground. So I came out here yesterday and I checked the soil. It feels fine now, but yesterday it was dry, so I added some water. The fourth thing to do is check your water containers. If you look at this lettuce patch, this contains red sails, some Grand Rapids leaf, and over here on the right a couple of Tom Thumb. Of the 4 lettuce varieties we're growing this year, the most cold tolerant by far is black-seeded Simpson, followed by Tom Thumb, Grand Rapids leaf, and the most sensitive to frost and freeze is the red sails. Unfortunately, that's the majority of lettuce we're growing under this garden line row cover, which provides the least amount of protection. I've got 6 1-gallon jugs of water under the row cover, and we've had 3 days where the temperatures have made it into the mid-40s. And they're not frozen solid, but they all still have ice in them, and that's a problem. You really want no ice in your containers when you're headed for a couple of days of below freezing weather. It's almost solid ice. There's about a ½ inch of melted water around the outside, but the center of these containers is a block of ice. That's not a good situation, but I don't really have a good answer for that, other than taking them inside and melting them. That just will make my house cold. And the fifth thing you can try is adding extra insulation to your garden beds. I'm going to pack the area around these garden line row covers with shredded leaves. That'll act as a makeshift frost seal. And I'll throw an extra piece of plastic over the top. For my flower house, I'm going to break out the old sleeping bag. But I don't have any plans for the hoop house. That has a lot more interior space and air space in it. It seems to hold air better. So I'm going to let that one go as is, and we'll see how it does. Check back in a week after the snows have been shoveled, and we'll see how the garden's made out. If you don't have a winter garden already, it's a good time to start some seeds indoors. Pick cold-tolerant varieties, and you could have them ready to go in the ground by middle of February. If we get another break in the weather, it's a great time to do transplants. Happy gardening, everyone. Packing those shredded leaves around the base of row covers made an immediate difference in the internal temperature. And now the sun is shining, so we'll trap as much heat as we can and hope for the best. It's always been difficult to predict winter storms here. 5 days ago they were predicting 14 inches of snow, which they cut to 8 inches of snow, which they cut to 6 inches of snow, which they cut to 2 to 4 inches of snow when the snow began. We got a little less than 2 inches of snow, and now the temperature is warmed up enough that it's just raining. And tomorrow this will all be gone. So much for the big storm of 2022.